Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. So today was my mom's actual birthday, and me and her ended up actually going out for like lunch to just like a local like sort of sandwich place, and so we ended up going there and doing that, but we really like celebrated her birthday yesterday, so we didn't do like cake or anything like that. We did that all again yesterday. Yeah, anyways, though, I woke up a little bit late today. I actually did not have much time to get to a lot before, again, me and my mom ended up deciding we were going to go out to eat for lunch. So I did wind up getting dishes done, and that was sort of kind of all of it. But I don't know why, like today especially, I just did not feel in the mood to like, I just did not feel very motivated. And like, I don't know, I am like, just not today, but like sort of just this week, I've just been sort of like overwhelmed with like knowing that there's so much stuff going on, and maybe not things that specifically like affect me, but like with like everybody being gone, or like everybody's schedule like sort of being all over the place, it's like weird for me to sort of get back into my own routine. I know that sounds really weird, like less people being here actually sort of would make it sound like it's easier for me to get things done, but it's almost like, I don't know, my brain just works like it is like the human equivalent of everybody's like dry erase or like calendar, and like I feel like I keep everybody else's information like in my brain, and like it's not my responsibility to remember everybody's stuff. But again, like I'm like, oh, my mom's working this week, like we have to make sure we go to the grocery stores, but I was like, oh, but my dad has a golf outing that's going on Saturday, my mom's supposed to be going to something on Saturday, which might have gotten changed to Sunday, but they have something else that they're supposed to be going to on Sunday. It's like, I don't even know, like it just, when everybody else has stuff going on, and I'm like, and Friday's Jack's first football game of the year, like you know, like all these things that are just sort of like running through my head, and they're not my responsibility to remember, but for some reason, and like, and it doesn't even really have an effect on me, but for some reason, like I'm the person that winds up keeping track and remembering all these little details that, again, I shouldn't have to and don't need to keep track of. And like, again, you know, but like it's that thought of like, oh, well, you know, if this person's gonna be gone, then somebody's gonna need the car, or like, oh, if nobody's there, you know, like they're busy, like, and Jack has to be picked up from school, like, and somebody can't pick him up, like he'll have to walk. And like, again, that's not even my responsibility to have to know that, but like then I'm like, oh, but I probably want to give him a heads up of like, oh, you know, you probably want to, you know, make sure, you know, or find out like if mom or dad can pick you up, you know, or like a friend because they are both busy, or you know, something like that. Like, you know, then it's like I feel like obligated to like remind those people about something. And then even too, like, oh yeah, we're going out to eat, like, okay, well, we have to think of like XYZ. Like I'm always planning like 20 steps ahead too, and again, when it's not even things that sometimes even like affect me, but I'm just trying to make sure that everybody's schedule is sort of planned. And like, I don't know why, it also stresses me out when other people don't have a plan, and so like, or like don't communicate their plans. So like, I don't know, it just, like I said, it's stuff that like shouldn't, and like I should just let it go sometimes, but other times too I feel like not like obligated, but like, you know, oh, if I know that thing, like I should be helpful and let the other person know. And so like I said, I'm always like thinking like 10 steps ahead. Like my mom's like, oh, you know, I'm gonna be gone, or I have to go and do this thing. Like then I'm like, oh, okay, well, how does that affect everybody else's schedule, and like how does that, you know, like correlate with everybody else? Like, and so like that was one thing that like, especially this week, because so much stuff was going on like this past week and then this coming week, sort of, it seems like, and like new things that like are getting added into the schedule that like haven't been, like, again, sort of Matthew and Jack going back to school, and then Jack's football game like this weekend, and again like my mom's birthday over this weekend, this last weekend, and like I said, Jack's football game coming up this coming weekend. You know, like all that kind of stuff, like just trying to, I don't know, remember, plan around it. Like I said, my brain just is like the family calendar, and like I keep track of everything. And like I said, when I don't need to, or I don't need to be responsible for that. And it's maybe not even that I'm just like there's so much stuff going on. It's just compared to last year where literally nobody was doing anything. We couldn't hardly leave the house. Like, you know, it was a big event when somebody went out to the grocery store sort of thing. Like, and now it's like all of these things that like we can go and do now. Like we can go out and eat at a restaurant. We can go to parties, all this kind of stuff. It's like, you know, now I think that before, like again, maybe like 2019, this stuff wouldn't have even stressed me out. But now that we've gone through a whole year of nobody doing anything and now all of a sudden people doing stuff again, I think my brain just doesn't know how to cope with it maybe. And like, again, I'm trying to like organize all these things instead of it just being like, you know, like my mom being like, okay, I'm gonna go to the dollar store or something like that, and being like, okay, well we need, you know, like XYZ because we're out of it, like, you know, that's the trip out, so make sure you go and get that stuff, you know, sort of thing. And so like that was the most organized my brain had to be in the sense of like events, plans, people leaving. And now it's like 50 times that, you know, my brain's like working overtime. And so like, again, it's like sort of me being, again, like, I don't know, overwhelmed by things that sometimes don't always have an effect on me. Sometimes they do. And like, again, even like thinking 20 steps into, you know, planning ahead, but also to like thinking like months into the future too, like how is this going to wind up affecting XYZ that's going to be happening at this time, and like, you know, and this thing that's going on and that, you know, and all this kind of stuff. I don't know why, like I said, my brain is just, especially lately, has been acting like that. And it seems like, again, now that like, oh, Matthew's not here anymore, like Jack's going back to school, but it's like, but Jack also has football and he has football practice every night. My dad goes to football practice and Matthew sometimes comes back to go to football practice, and then Jack's got a football game on Friday. And like I said, all these things that, you know, wind up sort of just accumulating. And again, not that other than the football games, not much of it affects me other than being like, okay, well then we have to figure out when we're going to the grocery stores, you know, like those type of things. But like on top of that too, like my dad, I think he's done working overtime on Saturdays. So we have Saturdays freed finally, which is another thing too. Like I feel very like, I don't know, just sort of like off. Like it almost feels like I've only had like a 1-day weekend for the last like couple weeks, even though my dad went to the golf thing last week and wasn't working overtime, but he was gone like for most of the day. But it just sort of seems like that too, because normally like Saturday and Sunday would be the time that me and my dad would like get all these projects and stuff done, and it's like we haven't been able to. The last couple weeks though, like before my dad ended up starting the overtime, we weren't really doing that much. It was sort of like around the time right before we went on vacation, I'd say. We weren't doing a lot of, like I said, projects and stuff like that, but yeah, I just feel like we haven't, you know, like, I don't know, like that has sort of thrown my own scheduling off and stuff like that. Is like other people's plans, and I don't know, it just seems really weird. So and again too, it's like that thing like, okay, well now we also have to coordinate like car situations with some people and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And I don't know, it's just been like, I think overwhelming for me. But also too, like I don't have my bearings either. Like my dad hasn't been here on Saturdays, so normally like, oh, we clean out the fridge, like we do, like, you know, like even just when we come back from the grocery stores, like because it's been like we've had to go at weird times, or like my dad has to go somewhere else, or we've been going really late, or like again at a different time than we normally do. We haven't hardly even been able to do that over the last couple of weeks. And so like we've sort of cleaned it up, but I was like, there's stuff, I'm sure there's leftovers like in the back of the fridge right now that like it's tough to do like one person job sort of thing. And like I said, I don't know, I just felt like this last, especially couple days, like just sort of not exhausted, but just overwhelmed, I think, by that, and realizing maybe what that has been as to why I feel like that is maybe a good thing. Because I think once you like figure out what it is that is either like stressing you out, or again sort of like whatever the case may be, I think then you can sort of address it and be like, okay, well, like, you know, that's out of my control, or, you know, like it doesn't have an effect on me. And again, realizing that I think is a good thing. I don't know why, like I said, I feel sometimes the need to take on everybody else's like planning, I think, sometimes too. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, if you're gonna go and do this, then, you know, like, or, oh, if you're gonna go out there, why don't you stop here because we need to get this thing, or we need to do this, or, you know, somebody needs to pick that up or whatever. And it's just like, I feel like everybody, for some weird reason right now, I feel like everybody's sort of just been running around like with all these errands, like last minute stuff, or like, you know, again, just like everybody has to be everywhere, and like not anybody has enough time. And again, it's, you know, like sometimes I'm involved in the situation, but it just makes me feel like I have way too much going on, and sometimes really don't. So yeah, anyways, guys, like I said, I did not end up getting too much today, but I think that that was maybe one of the things, was that I just felt a little overwhelmed, like, you know, again, with like, there's extra things that like now I've been going to and doing and stuff like that also, because of maybe other things that, again, have been going on or whatever. Or other people are like, oh, you know, again, like Jack's football, you know, like I'll be going to that. Like, you know, again, we planned, you know, for my mom's birthday and all this kind of stuff, but, you know, and then today wasn't really planned entirely. But again, like that kind of stuff, like, I don't know, it just seems like, and then I'm like, okay, I have time to sit down and like go and do this thing. And then I'm like, wait, I don't, because I have to go and do something, or somebody else is leaving and I have to take care of something, or, you know, like, I don't know, whatever it might be. So anyways, I'm hoping tomorrow maybe will be a little bit more of a calm day. Like, I don't have to really do anything other than clean the bathroom, but like, I don't know. I guess today too, especially, I felt like I really didn't do anything, and I feel like it was just an accumulation of sort of everything that's been going on. But like our kitchen too, like I just feel like everything is disorganized. On top of all of that, that stresses me out to no end. But I feel like it is like that because, again, everybody else has been having so much stuff going on, and we've been, again, doing so much stuff that it's like we come home and nobody wants to like take care of anything either. So it's like now to, again, like the whole house feels like it's in disarray, and it's like, I don't know, I need some, like I said, some zen or something like that. But anyways, one good thing today was actually that, and normally it's funny, Jack normally winds up and comes and tells me when there's new like trailers for movies and stuff like that that comes out. And it's so funny, he's been talking about the new Spider-Man trailer literally for like the last like several days, weeks, I don't even know how long. And he just got out of the shower, and he was sitting in the living room on his phone, and I saw that it came out like literally less than an hour ago, and I was like, Jack, how come you didn't tell me that it came out? And he's like, what? I didn't even know. And he like freaked out. So yeah, that was kind of funny. But yeah, now we have that to look forward to as well. Like, there's a bunch of those new movies that are coming out. Like, there's one coming out in like 2 weeks, then there's the other one that's coming out in November, and the Spider-Man one I think is the one that's coming out in December. And yeah, I think one's really close to my birthday too. So yeah, anyways though, guys, I need to take a shower, I need to get to bed, I need to, again, de-stress, I think. And like I said, it's weird, like I don't know why sometimes too, like, does stuff ever feel like it just like stresses you out, and it's like, again, stuff that's not even in your control, or stuff that won't even have an effect on you, but sometimes it's just other people's business that winds up like stressing you out. Like, again, I don't know. And like sometimes it does have an effect like on me, like, again, by things that are going on. Like, oh, this person won't be here. Like, oh, like, you know, again, Jack's at school, and then at football practice, I have to take the dogs out more than I normally do when he's home for summer break, and he takes care of them. So like, that's like an extra thing. And sometimes too, I'm not like back in that routine of doing that. So it's like this extra stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to make sure I take the dogs out so they don't pee all over the floor. Like, I guess that's that sort of thing too, is that like I need to get back into the routine of like other people's routines right now, and figure out, like I said, maybe sort of like where I fall into, again, sort of like helping in certain ways but not being so overwhelmed. Maybe that's what I'll try and focus on a little bit tomorrow. But I think it's good when you can be mindful of things that are maybe stressing you out or like overwhelming and that kind of thing. So anyways, guys, like I said, I really need to go take a shower now. I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.